Hi everyone. Well, this is the first video where there will be translation, automatic translation by YouTube. Let's see how it translates to Portuguese, my mother language. Well, at the bench today we have a Whirlwind pcDI. I already went ahead and disassembled. So basically it calls itself a PC interface, stereo line interface. It comes in a beautiful extruded aluminum housing, but it's nothing more, nothing less than a bunch of switches and jacks to do various interconnects between balanced and unbalanced audio lines. This box belongs to the worship team at my church, and they were having a lot of problems with scratch audio, and the fix is very simple. It's just a curiosity for you guys to see how it is inside one of these units, and just to show how it is going to be fixed. Let's go. Okay, just a close-up of the unit. Already disassembled. This is, as I said, a beautiful extruded aluminum case. This is standard, could probably be purchased from a supplier such as a Hammond, for example. And this is actually just removing a pair of screws, and you detach the bottom, the interior of the device. And here at the top there's all the functions of the equipment, and basically what we have here is two balanced outputs basically, with switches to decouple the ground from the balanced inputs to the unbalanced outputs on the other side. The RCAs are unbalanced, and also the jacks here, the stereo jacks in here. Also you have two other switches which it describes as either one of the switches just mono stereo, just shorts the two channels, and the other one has just a small attenuator, 20 dB attenuator. In this attenuator here there's no active parts. It's mostly comprised of resistors, so it's totally passive. It's a totally passive unit. And in evidence here, naturally, the big jack, the RCA units in here. There's actually a small jack in here. I forgot to mention a small, probably 2mm, 3mm jack. Sorry, memory fails me. The two switches in here, they're like self-cleaning and multi-gang switches. And now you have in evidence here the big two unbalanced transformers. They are literally transformers in here, completely enclosed, and you have the balanced input or output in the wires, and red and blue wires that go over here and over here, and the outputs are white and black that go to the small PCB. This PCB is very simple, has only the soldered parts actually, and just a small resistive network for the 20 dB attenuator, not much else. And naturally, to couple or decouple the grounds, just two rocker switches in here, one for each of the two balanced terminals in here. So the unit itself is extremely simple. Naturally, it was built to a cost. Everything is riveted, so no the absolute minimum use of screws. And I don't know about the quality of these connectors. I don't recognize any brands in here. And the problem of this unit in and itself is this red jack here, this red RCA jack. It is actually very loose, and naturally it was scratching terribly. I don't know if you can see, but it's the case here. I may actually get closer, but the case here is that there's a loose solder joint, which is normal, right? I mean, you with the plug and unplug, the connect and disconnect continuous in a normal operation. These things can tend to get a little bit looser anyways. So I'm gonna actually resolder this. I'm gonna remove this board and resolder this part, this pin, and the unit will be back new. I don't identify any mechanical problems or failures on this jack itself, on this RCA jack. So if needed be, I have more jacks that I could replace, but I don't think it is needed. This is just a case of a loose solder connection here. Well, let's go. Let me remove this small PCB. Okay, removing the board, you can tell here that the board itself is very simple. But you know, oddly enough, the solder itself for the ground is actually pretty solid. There's absolutely no breakage in here. So I don't know if it's gonna be able to see, but the actual terminal is broken there. The actual terminal is moving, so it broke down there in between the part and the soldering connection. So this guy here indeed is completely broken. There's absolutely no way to restore it easily. Fortunately, I have another one that I removed from another equipment that has the same footprint. Fortunately, the only thing that it has is a reversed white and red terminal, but that won't matter much. They won't care too much for this. So the only thing to do now, just replace the part. Well, just to showcase how the original part was completely cut clean on the ground connection. The other two terminals are still here, but the third one is completely clean cut. It's here. So yeah, too bad luck. However, fortunately, oh, it was really lucky. Fortunately, this other part that I had here is identical, exact same footprint. That doesn't happen every day. But I'm surely gonna put some glue to actually make sure that this at least has a little bit of mechanical robustness. Now on to solder the part. You need to be absolutely sure that the part is well fitted in its position. If the part goes down, it's hard then to actually reposition it correctly. Pardon if there's some noise. So what I usually do is just put a little bit of tin and fit one of the first pads just for positioning. Then I verify if the part is actually well positioned and well fitted, and then I proceed to solder the other two parts. Sorry, the other two pads. Then I go back to the first one and finish the job. After finished, you just want to make sure that the part is actually well fitted. It actually seems in pretty good shape. And next step, I'll just going to redo those other solder points. So I want to make sure that the unit has an extended life here. And after that, just close up. Oh, also I'm gonna put the glue here, so everything will be fine. I'll also do a little bit of cleanup. Although the solder, this is a 6337 solder from MG Chemicals, is of really good shape. I rarely like to leave flux residue here. So after I finish all these solder points, I'll clean the board overall. Alright, board is clean now. Now to put it back and close the product completely. Opa. Hold on. There you go. Da-da-da. And it fits nicely. Well, hope so. Yeah, the jack is a little bit tight fit. There you go. Aha. Gave me a scare for a minute. So now we're good to go. Well, now the unit is ready to be packed with the glue in place. I really like this glue E6000. It really helps a lot for those odd materials to be glued together. So with the glue in place, now we're all good to go. Just use the exact orientation. Whoop, put it in. Align the screws, the screw holes, and let's go. Let's go. Alright guys, the pcDI Whirlwind is good for another life. That's it. Hope you guys liked this video. See you next time.